I dropped nearly $9,400 on a family trip to Japan for Dad's 60th birthday, only to get a text that said, "We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun." I texted back, plain and simple. Got it. That same night, I pulled the plug on everything, flights, hotels, the whole deal. When they got back, they were met with locked doors, rent that had tripled, and declined cards at their favorite coffee spot. And that was just the warm-up. I sat there, staring at my phone like it had personally betrayed me. 3 bouncing dots blinked on the screen, taunting me like there was still more disrespect to come. It was a message from my mom. Short. Casual. Like she hadn't just set fire to 3 months of planning and nearly 10 grand of my money. "We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun." That was it. No apology. No context. Just a digital punch in the gut, served with a smug grin I could practically see through the screen. I kept my reply brief. Got it. And then I did the one thing none of them saw coming. I called the whole thing off. Flights? Cancelled. Hotels? Wiped out. Non-refundable? Didn't matter to me. I was the one who booked the trip. So I was the one who killed it. And that same night, I changed the locks on the family home. It was in my name, after all. They'd been living there rent-free for 5 years while laughing behind my back. Well, it was finally my turn to laugh. But let's take a step back. Let me walk you through how I got to the point where I could blow up a family vacation, jack up the rent on my own parents, and cut my golden boy brother out of my life like a bad appendix I should have dealt with long ago. It all started with one dumb decision, trying to be the good son. Dad was about to turn 60. Big milestone. And I thought, what better way to mark it than with a family trip to Japan? He'd always talked about seeing the cherry blossoms in Kyoto before his knees gave out, and Mom worshipped sushi like it was sacred. Kevin, my younger brother, used to say his dream was eating real ramen in Japan, not the instant stuff he lived on in college. So I did the thing everyone warned me not to do. I footed the entire bill. 9 grand worth of travel and lodging, all for $100, thank you, if I was lucky. Flights, hotels, bullet train passes, even made dinner reservations. I juggled all the planning between work deadlines. Spent weekends figuring out which hotels were close to shrines and markets, comparing train passes and ticket costs. I even upgraded their flights to premium economy. Me? I booked a cheap seat and a tiny room in Osaka. Because I figured this is what love looks like. But Kevin always finds a way to put me in my place. He's the favorite. The fun one. I'm just the guy with the wallet. So when I read that text, "We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun," I didn't feel shocked. I felt clarity. And let me tell you, clarity's a dangerous thing in the hands of someone who's been used one too many times. They always assumed I'd keep quiet. Until I didn't. It all begins with guilt. That's the hook. Not love. Not even duty. Just good old-fashioned guilt. My parents never straight up asked me to pay for things. No, they were subtler than that. "Kevin's doing his best, you know? It's hard for young folks these days. You're lucky to have a steady job, not everyone's that fortunate." And then the cherry on top. "We're so proud of you. We just wish Kevin had your work ethic." So yeah, I started helping out because I wanted to. Kevin's my younger brother, after all. I figured pitching in to help him finish school was the right move. I paid his tuition, bought his books, even got him a new laptop when his old one mysteriously stopped working 2 weeks before finals. But help turned into obligation real fast. 3 months after he graduated, he hadn't filled out a single job application. He was figuring things out, he said, while glued to the couch playing FIFA all day. Meanwhile, I was coming home from 12-hour shifts to find him lounging with takeout on my coffee table, food I paid for, in a house I owned. Mom would just smile and say, "He needs a little time. Don't be so hard on him." Dad wouldn't even look up from his iPad. "Let the boy breathe." He'd grumble, like I was the one being unreasonable. Then Kevin got himself a girlfriend. Madison, Mads, as she liked to be called, moved in 2 months after they started dating. No one asked me. No conversation. She was just there one day, like she'd always belong. Took over my kitchen. My Netflix. My Wi-Fi. One night, I caught her wearing my dress shoes in the living room, filming a TikTok. "I'm doing a character," she said, winking. "Don't be weird." Kevin chuckled. "Relax, dude. She's funny." Funny. That damn word stuck with me like a thorn. Still, I stayed quiet. Kept paying for everything. Because that's what family does, right? Because I didn't want to cause drama. Because Dad would be disappointed if we fought. Because you make more than enough, as they like to remind me. When Kevin lost the job I helped him land, after showing up late 3 times in his first week, I stepped in again. I covered his car payments so his credit wouldn't take a hit. Then Madison wrecked her old sedan. And like an idiot, I co-signed for a used Mazda, put it in my own name. I know. Dumb. And when they both said they wanted to join the birthday trip for Dad, I didn't even flinch. I reworked the whole itinerary. Booked extra rooms. Reorganized hotel reservations. I even shifted my own paid time off just to make it all work. And what was my reward? "We gave your spot to Kevin's girlfriend. She's more fun." It wasn't just a cheap shot, it was a wake-up call. That one sentence confirmed what I'd always feared. In my family's eyes, I wasn't loved. I wasn't even respected. I was just useful. A walking credit card with a pulse. And the worst part? I let it happen. But they weren't finished. Not by a long shot. The morning after they touched down in Tokyo, I got a text from Kevin. "Yo, can you send some spending money? Mads forgot her card and Dad says exchange rates are trash." I ignored it. An hour later, another one came through. "Come on, man. Don't be salty. This trip's about Dad, not you." I nearly hurled my phone at the wall. They had taken my seat, hijacked my vacation, stolen my moment. And now they wanted more? But I stayed silent. Let them enjoy the trip. Let them post their perfect little highlight reels about family unity. While I sat alone in an empty house with a rage I didn't even know how to name. Until day 5. That's when the hotel called. "Mr. Adams, we're reaching out because the credit card on file for your reservation has been declined. Also, we've noticed an unauthorized guest was added to the suite." So that's how they pulled it off. They'd swapped me out for Madison without telling the hotel. And charged her stay to my card, thinking I'd never find out. That was the moment. It wasn't the insult. It wasn't the money. Not even getting cut from the trip for Dad's 60th birthday. No, what really got me was the assumption that I'd just take it. Like I always had. Like I always would. So I logged into my bank account. Flagged the charges. Shut the card down. Then I picked up the phone and called the hotel. "All guests need to be removed. The reservation's cancelled. And if anyone tries to argue otherwise, alert security. They don't have my permission to be there." There was a pause on the line. Then the manager said, "Sir, they're still in the room." "I'm aware," I told him calmly. "They'll figure it out." When they finally got back, everything had already changed. I was in the kitchen when I heard car doors slammed shut. Then came the voices. Loud. Panicked. My mom's shrill whine, Kevin barking something, and Madison shouting over them all, her tone sharp and furious. I didn't move fast. Just stirred my coffee and waited. Then came the pounding. Boom. 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 "Open the door!" Kevin's voice. "We know you're in there." I walked over, coffee still in hand. Peeked through the peephole. There they were, 3 red faces, hair a mess, luggage piled at their feet. Madison didn't even have shoes on for some reason. I unlocked the deadbolt and cracked the door just enough to look them in the eye. "What happened to our keys?" Kevin snapped. I took a slow sip of coffee. "Oh, you mean the ones I had rekeyed? Yeah, they don't work anymore. You can't be serious," he barked. I nodded. Calm as ever. "Dead serious." Mom tried to push forward. "We just got off a 14-hour flight. We're exhausted. We're hungry." "You're trespassing," I said flatly. "This is private property." "You're joking." Madison jumped in, voice laced with sarcasm. "You're seriously locking out your own family?" I looked straight at her for a long beat. Then said it plain as day. "You're not my family." Her mouth hung open. Kevin looked like I'd slapped him. "Okay, well. he said. This is messed up. We were stranded in Osaka. No money, no hotel, no way to get online. Do you have any idea what that was like? Must have been rough, I said. Imagine being stuck in a foreign country on someone else's dime. Oh wait, that's what you did. Kevin's face turned a deep red. You humiliated us. You cancelled everything. We couldn't even catch a cab to the airport. The cards were frozen. They tend to do that when you commit credit card fraud, I said, arms crossed. Fraud? Mom gasped. Oh, don't be dramatic. I held up my phone, the screen glowing with a screenshot of the hotel manager's email. Unauthorized guest. Charges disputed. Kevin, I asked, keeping my voice steady. Did you, or did you not, add Madison to the suite under my name? He opened his mouth. Then shut it. Looked over at Madison. She just shrugged. I stepped aside, letting them peek inside. But the house they remembered? It wasn't there anymore. The couch? Gone. Dining table? Gone. Every piece of furniture they used to sprawl out on like they owned the place? Donated. The walls were bare. I'd stripped the place of everything they touched. You emptied the house? Mom asked, stepping forward. Correction, I said. My house. Kevin clenched his fists. We lived here. For years. Rent-free, I added. No help with bills. No respect. Mom's face twisted. We're your family. This is disgusting. You're punishing us over one mistake? I let out a single laugh. One mistake? You hijacked my vacation. Burned my credit. Kicked me out of plans I made for my own father's birthday. And why? Because I wasn't fun enough? You're being petty, Madison muttered, rolling her eyes. You're mad because we had a better time without you. That's when I stepped fully outside and closed the door behind me. You really think this is about Japan? I asked, my voice low now. This isn't about one trip. This is about every single time I put you first. Every dollar. Every time I let you crash here without paying a cent, while you laughed behind my back. We didn't. Mom started. You did, I said, cutting her off. All of you. And now I'm done. Kevin shook his head, stunned. So what? We're homeless now? No, I said. You've got 2 weeks. Rent's tripled, utilities are on you, and the guest suite? Locked. If you want to stay, you pay. He scoffed. You can't be serious. You can't just evict us, Madison added, folding her arms. I pulled a folded lease agreement from my coat pocket. Actually, I can. It's legal. It's already done. And your credit cards? I added, stepping back toward the door. Declined at the coffee shop this morning. Got the alert myself. The silence hit hard. I turned to go back inside. But Kevin grabbed my arm. Wait, please, he said, voice cracking. You don't understand. I don't have anywhere to go. Madison thought the trip would bring us closer to the family. She didn't mean to hurt you. Madison started to argue, but stopped. Kevin's eyes were wet. I looked at him, really looked. And I felt nothing. No pity. No heat. Just a clean, cold emptiness. You were my brother, I said. And you traded me for some laughs. That's not family. That's a reality show. Then I walked back in. Locked the door. Left them standing in the wind. They returned to a whole new world. One that didn't include me. 3 days passed. Then the chaos really started. That first morning? Quiet. Too quiet. I thought I'd get yelling, guilt trips, maybe 100 angry texts in the family group chat. But nothing. I ate breakfast alone, coffee, a croissant, and something I hadn't felt in years, peace. Not silence you hear, silence you carry. But by day 4, my phone finally lit up. Can we talk? I'm sorry about what happened. We all made mistakes. Please don't do this to your father. Mom. I didn't answer. Not because I didn't have anything to say. I just didn't owe them anything anymore. For once, I didn't feel like explaining myself to people who never truly listened. Then the real fallout came. Cards blocked. Madison tried buying coffee downtown, declined. Twice. I got the notification and smiled. She posted a story. Some people are just vindictive. And deleted it 5 minutes later. The rent? A week into the new lease, triple the old rate, and I got an email. Hi, we're struggling with the new rent. Could we discuss alternatives? No name. Just that. It was just a family account. I ignored it. Work stuff. Kevin, who'd spent years loafing around in my house without holding down a real job, suddenly started picking up odd part-time work. A guy I knew from the gym mentioned that Kevin was now folding towels up front. I didn't feel sorry for him. I moved into a small loft downtown. Concrete floors, high ceilings, tall windows, and a bare-bones setup. No clutter, no chaos, none of that homey, family mess. No random shoes clogging up the hallway. No half-eaten leftovers that didn't belong to me. I got up at 7 each morning, hit the gym, worked from home, and took long evening walks. And for the first time in what felt like forever, every minute, every breath, every dime, was mine. No texts begging me to chip in for groceries. No guilt-laced messages asking for just a little help till payday. No calls from mom pressing, "It's your brother, how could you say no?" Just silence. 2 weeks in, Kevin finally texted me. Said, "I know I screwed up." He really meant it too. Mads had left. Said this wasn't the life she signed up for. He said, "I get it now. You were right." I stared at that message for a long while. This was the same Kevin who used to laugh at my goals. Called me uptight. Said I didn't know how to relax or have fun. And now? He was alone. Left behind by the girlfriend who was all about fun, until the fun ran out. Now he had to face the mess without his personal human credit card. I didn't answer. Then came the bombshell, a letter from a lawyer. My parents were suddenly claiming partial ownership of the house. My attorney broke it down for me. Said they were arguing they'd pitched in financially over the years. We asked for proof. So far, nothing but silence. I laughed out loud. Not because it was funny, but because it was so ridiculous it didn't deserve anything more. My family always had this idea that if I owned something, they somehow had a stake in it. I could still hear my mother saying, "This is a family home, sweetheart. What's yours is ours." But now, that ours didn't mean a damn thing. Mom sent another message. "We didn't raise you to be like this. What would your father think?" This time, I finally replied, "You raised me to serve you. That ends today." What really caught me off guard wasn't how mad they got. It was how quickly everything unraveled without me. Kevin was working grueling 10-hour shifts just to keep the lights on. Mom had started reconnecting with old friends, the same ones she used to mock for having selfish kids. And Dad? Quiet. Just like always. He never said much during fights, insults, or betrayals. His loyalty was to staying neutral. And now? They were all stuck living in the very world they created, one where I no longer existed to keep things running. As for me? I was sitting on a brand new couch, in a fresh apartment, sipping coffee nobody criticized, surrounded by only what I chose to have around me. For once in my life, I wasn't being used. For once, I didn't owe anyone anything. And more than that, I wasn't angry. I felt free. I realized I was never the issue. I was just the solution they drained dry. Funny thing, sometimes silence speaks louder than shouting. It's been 3 months since I cut the cord. No more free housing. No more so-called brotherly favors. No more pretending that family means love instead of leverage. I figured I'd feel guilt. Maybe grief. Maybe even loneliness. But no. What I feel is stronger, peace. I wake up now without that heavy weight on my chest. No more waiting for the next favor. That was really manipulation. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. I don't brace myself for some backhanded guilt trip disguised as a check-in. It's like I've stepped out of a fog I didn't know I was in. I can finally breathe. Last week, while unpacking more boxes in my new place, I found an old shoebox tucked away. Inside were photos, birthday cards, and a folder marked family stuff. I opened it. There were old plane tickets. Receipts from vacations I'd funded. Hotel bookings under my name. It hit me like a punch in the chest. Every family memory we made had been paid for with my credit card. They used to say I was cold. But I was the one keeping the lights on, literally and figuratively. I flipped through some photos. In every single one, I was the one smiling, giving, organizing, driving, paying. And everyone else? Just chillin'. Carefree. Like passengers in a car they never had to drive. Back then, I thought that made me strong. Now I see, it just made me invisible. What they loved wasn't me, it was what I could provide. And when I stopped being their provider, their affection vanished. Kevin hasn't reached out since Madison left. A friend of a friend said he moved into a basement apartment, and now delivers food. And for once, I didn't feel smug. I didn't feel anything at all. Because his life? It's finally his to deal with, not mine. Madison? She wiped her socials clean. Took down every old photo. Unfollowed the whole family. Guess the fun dried up once the free lifestyle did. Mom sent one last message. We didn't raise you to be like this. We miss who you used to be. And I wrote back. You miss the version of me who never said no. He's gone. Dad stayed quiet. Of course he did. That was his specialty. Years of sipping coffee while things fell apart around him. He never yelled. Never lifted a hand. But he always watched. And honestly? That was worse. His silence made his complicity seem calm. But it was just as damaging. I stopped expecting closure from any of them. So I gave it to myself. One night I sat alone. No TV. No phone. Just me and a glass of wine, watching city lights flicker on through the window. And for the first time in years, the quiet didn't feel lonely. It felt like something I'd earned. That night, I scribbled a note and stuck it on the mirror. I owe no one more than I owe myself. And every morning since, I've read it like a prayer. The ironic part? The same people who used to drain me now say I'm distant. That I've changed. And you know what? Damn right I have. I used to be the bridge they walked all over. Now, I'm the ocean they can't get across. A few days ago, Kevin's ex, Lisa, messaged me. We barely spoke back when they were dating. But she was always polite. Kind of quiet. She wrote, You were the only one who saw what was really going on. The way they treated you, it wasn't right. I'm glad you left. You saved yourself? That message hit me harder than I expected. Because I'd started to wonder if maybe I was the problem. But Lisa reminded me I wasn't crazy. I was just the first one to see clearly. I used to think that walking away made me selfish. Now I know, it's self-preservation. They always taught me that love meant sacrifice. But the sacrifice was always mine, never theirs. They called me heartless. I call it clarity. They used to say I was heartless. I say I was healing. They called me selfish, but only after I stopped being theirs to control. And the best part? I don't hate them. I don't wish them hurt. I just don't owe them a single thing anymore. And that kind of freedom? It's like taking a full breath after years of drowning. Next week, I'm flying to Iceland. Just me. No one else tagging along. No last-minute cancellations. No guilt trip detours. I've always dreamed of seeing the Northern Lights. Never made it happen, though. There was always some urgent family mess to handle. Somebody needed a loan. Someone else needed me to cancel plans. There was always another fire to put out, never mine, always theirs. But this time? This one's for me. No obligations. No compromises. Just me, standing under a sky lit up in green and gold, the cold air biting at my face, far away from the noise and the weight I carry for so long. And when I'm standing there, just me, thousands of miles away from all that chaos, I'm going to say it out loud. I am not your safety net. I am not your second choice. I am not your free ride, your fallback, or your fool. I am me. And for the first time in my life, that's not just enough, it's everything.